This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Mike Sedita.
Hello out there. Welcome to episode 36 of the Good Neighbor Podcast. My name is Mike Sedita, and I am joined today by Joey Wiggins. He is a jack of all trades with Land's electric vehicles and golf carts in Plant City. He's the janitor, the truck driver. He handles everything you need him to handle in the shop, and he is here with us today. Joey, how are you doing this afternoon? Is it afternoon? This afternoon.
It's close enough, Mike. I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate having you on. A little bit about the Good Neighbor Podcast. I know you spoke to our booking agent to jump on here. What we do is really designed to bring businesses into the community. And it all started back in 2020. A guy by the name of Charlie McDermott in Southwest Florida, COVID hit, businesses couldn't get in front of residents and families and the people they were trying to reach. So the Good Neighbor Podcast was really created as a bridge to get people into the community so that they could still learn about businesses, learn about charities, learn about the things that were going on in their community. And over the last 3 years, the Good Neighbor Podcast has developed into a national podcast. So we have Good Neighbor Podcasts in a bunch of different cities all over the U.S. And I'm fortunate enough to be the person here who hosts it in the Tampa. It's the Good Neighbor Podcast Pasco, but it's Tampa, it's Plant City, it's kind of Central Florida. So we really appreciate having you guys on to learn a little bit about Land's EVs and golf carts. So tell us a little bit about the business.
Well, we are an Icon Super Center. We sell their golf carts, their electric bikes, and also their luxury line of Epic golf carts. All of our vehicles are electric. We have everything from 2-seater golf carts, 4-seater, 6-seater, all the way up to 8-seaters. We have non-lifted. We have lifted golf carts. Variety of colors, and the best thing is they're all customizable. We can put different wheels, LED lights, sound bars, whatever you want on it. We can fill your needs and wants.
Okay, so my first question off of that is, what is the difference between, for lack of a better term, a garden variety golf cart versus an Epic golf cart? Does it have like a 350 engine in it, or what are we talking about on that?
Pretty close, man. It's like a big block to a small block.
Okay, that's the main difference when it's called an Epic.
It's their luxury line. It has more features and options on it than the Icon. Comfort features is basically what I mean. It's going to come. First of all, the cart's going to come DOT approved to be street legal. It's going to have a built-in sound bar already on it, so that doesn't have to be added. The seats are custom stitched, color keyed to the cart, custom wheels that are exclusive to the Epic cart. A lot of just luxury benefits. The display on them is a digital 6-inch screen display. The cart has a backup camera on it. I mean, there really isn't too much they left off these carts.
So are you finding that, so just today, like if I showed up on the lot in Plant City, what kind of inventory do you have of Epics already made up, ready to go? Is there a dozen? Is there 6? I mean, what kind of inventory do you have on those right now?
We have over $500,000 worth of inventory. Wow. On the ground here in Plant City. We pride ourselves on stocking just about every model and color that's available because we don't want our customers to have to wait. And fortunately, we have a facility here big enough to do that.
And the reason I asked that question is, it sounds like the Epic line is really the people that want to come in and they don't necessarily want to a la carte, customized. Like some people might want a better radio. Some people might want it street legal, might not. Like this is kind of like the Cadillac of for lack of a better term, the Lexus or whatever fancy luxury. Right. And so do a lot of people now come in and start with a base model and customize a la carte, or a lot of people coming in and just picking up the fully loaded version, or does it vary?
Both ways. It varies. It really depends on the customer and their wants and needs. We try to provide our services. We try to provide and fulfill our customers' needs, and that customer may not need a full-blown Epic to fill his needs, and we are able to customize an Icon cart to fill his needs and his wants and be a little bit more economical for him.
And so here's the big question off of that is, how many Florida Gator version golf carts do you do versus Florida State versus UCF or USF? I mean, you guys are right there in Plant City. You're kind of wedged between USF and UCF. And then we have the big boys. Do you do a lot of the customization like that as well?
We do. We currently, it's funny you say that. We currently have a University of Florida cart sitting on our showroom floor that is
Of course you do.
With soundbar, LED lights, Gator flags and stickers, and you name it, custom wheels. It's really a cool cart to see.
It's pretty crazy. So I previously lived in Atlanta, and in my subdivision, there, where the neighborhood pool was, there was a whole golf cart parking lot. Like there was a section just to park your golf cart. That's how many people use them around the communities, and it's prevalent here, obviously in Florida too. But that was the first time I had seen anything like that. And man, Joey, when I tell you, it was like the Keeping Up with the Joneses of who's going to have it tricked out more with their crazy rims and tires and lifted and the whole work. So it is a unbelievable evolution of the golf cart that you rented on the golf course, 20 years ago to where we're at today.
Yeah, it's kind of like this isn't your dad's or your grandfather's golf cart. It's the new thing, and like you say, with the lagoon communities that are being built around this area, we've sold a ton of golf carts to those areas, and like you say, whether it's at the lagoon or if you're going to a clay shoot with the guys and you don't want to drive around the little cart that they have there at the clay shooting facilities, you show up with yours with the sound bar and the lights, and everybody's a little jealous of you, whether you shoot good or not.
even bigger than that. I mean, we're in a huge state for RVs. There's so many people with recreational vehicles, and you see a lot now where people aren't towing their Jeep behind it. They're towing their EV golf cart that they can bring to their campsite and use that to tool around and save, obviously gas, and the cost of that is probably less than a Jeep, but it's pretty wild. The evolution is pretty crazy. So you personally, tell us a little bit about your journey. I mean, have you always been in this field when you were a young man? Were you a muscle car guy that kind of converted over and drank the Kool-Aid on the electric vehicles, or what was your story?
Well, I'm on the electric vehicle side on the golf carts. I'm still a musclehead at heart. I had 3 cars over at Mecum this past weekend, Kissimmee. So I still play with the muscle cars. I've done that just about my entire life.
What do you have currently?
Me and my partner have a 67 Chevelle, 73 C10 pickup, 69 Camaro.
Love that car.
Several of the C10 square body pickup trucks. They're
really sharp looking. They have that like retro look, and you could do so much stuff to them. The Chevelle was my brother's car. Growing up, my brother loved the Chevelle. He had one. He had another one that he messed up. I'm a little bit newer. I have an 89 Mustang GT, a Fox body.
Absolutely.
It's pretty neat. But it's always something in the shop that needs to be done to those old cars to tweak them and keep them, the way you want them to run. But so you're living in both worlds, Joey. You got the EV side on the daytime, and at night you're a gas guzzler.
But my personal background, I spent 18 years in the automobile industry, running dealerships all around the Bay Area. And just shifted gears from that to golf carts, and it's a whole lot more fun. And it's right here in my hometown. I was born and raised here in Plant City, so I know a lot of people here in town, and that makes it even more fun.
You know what it is? The buying experience. I did some time in the car business myself, and the buying experience in the car side has a stigma to it, like, I got to go to the dealer. I got to play the game. I got to do all this stuff. I would think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just making some assumptions here, but I would think the people that are coming in to see you guys, while there still is some, negotiation back and forth there, this is kind of a pleasure vehicle that they're coming in. And the people that are buying these, they're not scraping by to get a car to get back and forth to work. This is kind of their fun extra vehicle.
Exactly. You're 100% correct. Most of these are, being bought for fun. They're not for a necessity. They can be sometimes, but
Right.
most of the time they're for fun, and it's a whole fun process coming in. And Icon really did a good job with their color choices, and I mean, we got a lot of fun colors on these things that are just unbelievable.
So what would be like, I know one of the misconceptions that for me, I lived in a neighborhood that there were a lot of golf carts, but what's the biggest misconception you run into the people that come in to see you? Is it talking about the speed? Like, do people think they're going to go faster once you take the governor off? Do they think that they could street legal that, like that they could ride them on the street without the registration? What are some of the things you guys run into that you have to correct buyers so the people listening will know on the way in?
The reluctance of the buyers to accept the electric cart over a gas cart. They're so used to, like we were talking about the old muscle cars and stuff, they're so used to the carts being gas. For them to accept them being electric is a hurdle we have to get over. But in reality, like we talked about the carts being street legal, some of our carts, they run up to 25 miles per hour.
Wow.
So they run good. They're fast. They're virtually maintenance free. They're AGM gel batteries, lithium battery option available on all of our carts. But one of the biggest hurdles is just getting over that gas to electric hurdle. But what's helping us, you mentioned the RV parks and the people pulling them behind their RVs now. A lot of the RV parks have put rules into place now to where you can't bring a gas cart into their facility. If you're bringing a golf cart, it has to be electric. So we're taking those in on trade, which we do, by the way, take trades. We're seeing a lot of gas carts now being traded in on our electric carts.
So 2 questions off of that. I'm assuming if you're taking them in on trade, there's a market for people who still want the gas golf carts. And then the second question I had really was about, that's the first question. Is there a market for you guys? Are you guys able to turn those around and move them?
Well, there's always a market for used carts out there. Someone looking for something a little less expensive than obviously a new one. If it's a nice cart that we feel like's been maintained properly, we will keep it here and sell it retail. But the majority of the trades that we take in, we send directly to the auction and sell them just like you would at a car dealership.
What car? And then the follow-up question I had to that on the electric side, on the EV side, is even with the lithium ion batteries that are all in these, optional available in these vehicles, regardless, when I pull it into my garage or my carport, it just plugs in with a regular 110 line, right? There's no fancy, I don't need any additional equipment like I do with a Tesla.
No, you do not. It plugs right into a 110 outlet. Charging cord comes with it. The best thing about these carts are they're not like the old style where you have to lug the charger around. The charger's built in on board on all of our carts. So it's simply just plug into a 110 outlet and you're good. The carts have the amazing thing is the carts have about a 35-mile range before they need to be recharged. So, I mean, that's a lot of distance you can cover.
Okay. So then, yes. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, it's getting around neighborhoods for a while. So then my next question would be, I'm out on the shooting range with my buddies or whatever I'm doing with it. And I've done that 30-mile range or 30-hour, whatever it is. When I'm on like E, for lack of a better term, when my electricity is on E, how long does it take me? I go in and plug it in. How long does it take me to fully charge it?
If it's all the way down, it's going to take probably 10 to 12 hours to charge one of the regular AGM carts, the gel cart. If it's a lithium cart, it has a quick charge option. It's going to charge quicker, probably in a 2-hour, 3-hour time span.
So basically, as long as you're getting home at night, plugging it in overnight, you're good to go, and you got it all day the next day, and there's no issue.
Absolutely.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit. One of the questions I always like to ask people on the podcast, because this is a business podcast, people are learning about the business. They're learning, about lands and where you guys are at and what you do. But the people that come on, I like to find out what they do for fun. We've already talked about you doing the car stuff. Do you have any other hobbies when you're not in there? Are you a hunter? Are you a fisherman? What kind of stuff do you like to do besides the cars?
We have some hunting property up in Georgia that we love to go to. Our family, my entire family, my kids, my brother, his kids. We all have RVs up there that we go to, and we camp and enjoy hunting. Our wives and kids all hunt with us, so we utilize the carts up there at the hunting camp also, and just love spending time and spoiling my one and only granddaughter I have. And,
how old is she?
She's 5, going on 20.
Yeah, that's usually the case. So is she? So are your kids local here too? Are they in Plant City with you guys as well in Polk County?
I am very fortunate that both my kids, my son, who is 40, and my daughter just turned 39 2 days ago, they are
Happy
here
birthday.
in town. My brother and my entire family still right here in town, including my mother. My dad passed away early, but everybody's right here close together, man. Makes it nice.
Good for you. That's fantastic. It's nice having everybody in close proximity. And in what part of Georgia do you have your camp set up at?
We're in a little town called Snipesville. There's literally one intersection there. It's between Douglas, Georgia, and Hazelhurst, Georgia.
So sort of on the south side of the state.
South Central.
Yeah. Like still south of me. Listen, I've done that ride. I lived in Atlanta. My folks lived down in Venice. I did that 7.5 hour I-75 ride. That could be as much as 9 hours, depending on the traffic going through Atlanta. But yeah, I've done that road quite a bit, so I'm very familiar. That area down there is really that's nice country. I know a lot of people that have camps set up down there. A buddy of mine actually owned a hog farm, a hog camp where people could go and hunt like boar, like stuff like that. It was pretty wild, the stuff they do down there. It's excellent.
It's a lot of fun, man. Good quality. So when you go up, time, it's great.
So let me ask you this. So do you see more people, like the other side of this, like talking about gas vehicles, is like ATVs and like these razors and things like that? Do you guys carry lines of that as well, or is it strictly all EV type stuff?
We're strictly an Icon dealer.
Okay.
When we went into this deal, it was kind of a funny thing because we had our used truck and fabrication business here on our facility here, and we have over 7 acres here. And our main deal was we fabricated and built water trucks for the construction industry, 2,000 and 4,000 gallon trucks that are utilized on construction sites spraying water, and we ship those things nationwide. Some of them are sold worldwide. And we had all this extra property, including, he's talking about the car dealerships. Our main building where our golf carts are is an old car dealership. It was a Buick Pontiac dealership here in Plant City. And that part of our facility was sitting empty. So we were looking for something put in it. And that's how we got involved with Icon. And when we did, we made the decision that Icon was what we were going to represent. And by doing that and selling their vehicles, their carts as quickly as we have, a year into it, we were recognized by them as a super center. So that is the only line we carry is Icon and their Epic carts also.
That's awesome. What's funny is one of my clients, I don't know how far you are from them. They're right on I-4. Is a company called True Corp. They're like right on the westbound side of I-4 in Plant City. And he did kind of a similar thing. Like he had this piece of property that he had there and was like, I'm going to do something with this thing at some point. And he did some branding and put his stuff up there and let it kind of sit there until he evolved it into what is now their kind of headquarters over there, which is pretty wild that's the location was right. The highway's right there. So it's not, Plant City's a nice little corridor.
I saw some of those guys at breakfast this morning.
Oh yeah. Who did you run into?
Honestly, they're a little bit younger than me, so I don't know them personally. But they were. I seen them when they came in. They come in with their shirts on, and we go to Fred's every morning and eat.
Yeah, they're good. They're good guys over there. They do. They have a unique business model that works really well for what they do. But yeah. So let me ask you this. So you personally, we've learned a little bit about your story. Has there been a time in your life where you've kind of hit a roadblock or like a hardship where you were able to turn the lemons into lemonade and kind of galvanize you guys to grow to where you're at today?
Mike, probably like I mentioned earlier, probably was my dad dying at such an early age.
How
He
old
passed
was
away.
he?
He was 55.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he died from melanoma skin cancer.
Oh, gosh.
And I was 30 at the time, and man, I thought life was over. But realizing now that life is full of adversity, and the way we look at that adversity and the way we handle it really kind of describes us as a person. And Dad always taught us to, instead of seeing things as an obstacle, see it as an opportunity. So I rely on his lessons that he taught me through my 30 years with him, is what gets me through, the day now. Instead of, seeing things as obstacles, I see them as opportunities. And and life's all about perspectives and how you look at things. And I try to look at things as positively as I can and as optimistically as I can every day.
So you still hear his voice in your head daily?
Every day.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing for me, similarly, like my 2019, my brother passed away at 52. My mom got lung cancer. She passed away a year later. I took care of my dad, all that stuff. And I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. When something comes up in my day, and if you might be able to relate to this, that I think to myself, man, this is really like a headache. This is a curveball being thrown at me. And rather than get wrapped up in how difficult it might be, I draw from, listen, if I went through in a 6-month window, my mom getting cancer, my brother passing away, doing all these things to take care of my folks, and come out the other side of that okay, someone canceling an appointment or missing a podcast or doing something, none of that stuff in the overall scheme of things makes any difference other than rescheduling in time. That's the only thing.
Absolutely, man.
That's one of the things that I think that when you lose somebody in your life that's close like that, you kind of, it definitely gives you that perspective. So taking away from this, as we kind of wrap things up, if there's any one thing you need the listeners listening to this to know, to understand, I mean, what do you want them to take away knowing about what you guys do?
Just that, man, we pride ourselves on our customer service, man. I've always, whether it was golf carts or the car business, anything I do, and I carry that into this philosophy as the business here and everyone else's, and that's our customer service. Anybody can go get a franchise and sell anything, regardless what it is, if you got enough money. But what separates you from the guy in Tampa or the guy in Lakeland or Orlando is your customer service. And we can't be beat at that. We pride ourselves on our customer service. We always try to deliver more than we promise, more than what's expected. And also just our support of the community. We do things that, other people may look at us and go, man, why do you do that? We loan golf carts to the city all the time for, the police department to utilize in parades, the Strawberry Festival Parade, the Christmas Parade. We just loaned them several carts to use at the July 4th celebration. But we just look at that as paying it forward. And, those things get your name out there and get you recognized, and hopefully just knowing of how well we deliver after the sale is what we'd really like them to know.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? Like under promising and over delivering and being an ambassador of service is a huge differentiator. I mean, especially in a competitive market, right? Like there's car dealers, there's EV dealers, there's golf cart companies all over the place. That differentiator of service and making people feel like they're a part of your family and that you're taking them in and you're going to, guide them through the process makes a huge difference in the consumer market. So that's very much appreciated. What is the best way? If I tomorrow decide that I need an epic golf cart and I need to come to Lands, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Just call, just walk in, go to the website. What's the best way to get the process started?
Any of the above. We can be as old school as the phone. We'll answer the phone when you call. And you can reach us at 813-917-8888. We're located right here at 2900 James Redman Parkway in Plant City. And we're also available on the web at landsgolfcarts.com. Doesn't matter where you're at. I mean, we sell to people, all over the country. We've shipped golf carts out here to Missouri, North Carolina. Doesn't matter to us where you're at. We'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. Joey, thank you so much for being on. Guys, if you're listening, we're going to include all of the contact information for Lands. You'll have it in the podcast, so it's available to you. If you're looking for an electric vehicle, if you're looking for an electric bike, I personally don't get the electric bike thing. I mean, I'm lazy. I like the idea of an electric bike, but I mean, I thought bikes are for exercise. But hey, listen, everybody has a mode of transportation. But if you need that, you can go to Lands. You can contact Joey. He is the janitor, the truck driver, the landscaper, the ambassador of customer service. Joey, thank you so much for being on the Good Neighbor podcast. We really appreciate your time today.
Mike, we appreciate you having us, man. Thank you for what you do for the community.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Passcode. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnppasco.com. That's gnppasco.com or call 813-922-3610.